Ooh, it just hit me that I'm hungry. But hi, girlies! Okay, ow. I'm sitting on a stool for today. Hold on. I'm not comfortable with, like, my mic being like that, but you know what? We'll make do. Alright. Adjusting audio. Hello? Okay. And we are live. Hello. I'm a little bit on the low energy side for today. Hold on, let's just make an announcement real quick. Wow. I'm very fucking hungry. Oh boy. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. We're today we're talking about reading, right? So we're going a little bit dark academia, library, fireplace, rain, thunderstorm. Actually, wait, I wanted music too. I wanted music. We'll just do the coffee shop because there you go. This is more the ambiance I'm looking for. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Hold on. Is that what my hair looks like right now? It's looking a little wild. It's looking a little wild today. Okay. I'm gonna Man, I keep smacking my lips. Like, ew! Ooh! Okay, okay, girly. Okay. Oh my god, guys. It has been a long ass fucking day. Let me tell you that right now. Girl is not surviving. She ain't surviving out here in these streets. But hi, welcome. Welcome to the podcast for today. Today we will be talking about reading. But before we start that podcast, we're gonna be this is a new vibe because I'm sitting on a stool. I adjusted my monitor to be like a podium stand, which is kind of funny to me. Hold on. Just adjust this a little higher. It kind of gives me like podium stand vibes. I'm like speaking to an audience right in front of me, like, girl. But yeah, I'm very excited for today's podcast topic. But in terms of what happened this week in my life, let's see. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look at my What is this? Oh. Okay, hold on. I just received a note of something. But okay. Anyway. I am off track. I'm getting off track. But anyways. Reset. In terms of what happened this week, in terms of updates, I met with someone new. Loved him. Great energy. Been working. Been doing my thing. Just typical usual thing. I balanced out the work and relaxation time. Clearly today I did it, but I popped the fuck off. So I'll give myself days off towards the weekend. I've been working on the podcast pretty slowly, but today I popped the fuck off with with my podcast. I did a lot of work. And yeah, just been working as my barista, working on the events crew, been hanging out with people, been just once again living. I'm excited. Some recruiter from one of the companies I interviewed before reached out to me to do an interview, I was like, wow, things are coming naturally. That's kind of like the mindset I've been going at it for this week, where I just want things to come to me naturally. Hi AC. I just want things to come naturally to me, and whatever comes to me, I will hear it out, listen, and take the opportunity or not take the opportunity. Because at the end of the day, I will take opportunities and be selective. If they interest me, then they interest me. If they don't, then they don't. I'm thinking through things more selectively, more maturely. No rush. I'm vibing. But another thing that happened though this week was like, I low key got self-conscious. But wait. I also wanted to note before. I wanted to note this before I start talking about like what happened this week or last week, excuse me. I just want to say, work has been super fun, and it's been honestly weird and nice to just easily wake up for work instead of dreading your fucking job. Like, I never had that feeling before. I never felt that feeling before of like, hey, I really like my job that I can actually wake up easily. Like, it feels more integrated with my life rather than work and then I do my life. It's integrated within my life and my interests and my everything. So it's been nice. But not gonna lie, I've been feeling low-key insecure this past week, despite everything that has been going well. Which will be discussed, by the way, because reading, God, the sun is bright, y'all can't see. There you go, you just, reading has been happening. Wait, I loved how my camera adjusted that. Anyway, so I was feeling insecure last week about things, which will be discussed later in the podcast. And then I impulsively bought a book, which was The Courage to... Come on, focus. The Courage... Girl, what is this freaking brightness? You can barely read it. God, fuck. It's called The Courage to be Disliked, and it helped me a lot to manage through the past week and this week. And I've been living my best life as per usual. As per usual. Drink water? Yeah, 100%. We need to drink water. I didn't even have a chance to freaking drink water all day today. I've just been drinking fucking tea, like fucking nonstop, like an addict. I can't stop. Okay. So, with that said, it is 8:10, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm really trying to end my fucking day, because I'm so tired. I woke up around 5 a.m. to do my 6:30 a.m. shift and finished work at 1 o'clock, and then been at the cafe since 1 to 6:30 working on podcast things. So it's been a lot. But we'll manage through. Another thing too that I forgot to mention, I got some fucking free clothes at a thrift store. Not a thrift store, but a thrift event. Just wanted to put that out there. Okay. It is 8:11. Hi Hamdino. Someone give me some motivation to read, please. Well, this is the podcast. This is the podcast episode that you're gonna be at. And with that being said, let's get it started. Hi! Thanks guys for stopping by. Today, we're gonna be starting our podcast topic for today, which is how reading has helped me this year. Fucking Christ. Reading? The thing is that it's not that you need motivation to read. You just need to enjoy the reading itself. Just read. Just have fun with it. But in terms of what we're gonna be talking about with reading and bullshit like that. I'm gonna be talking about, like, bruh, ham or dino. Ham dino. Ham. Literally, read fanfiction. If that makes you read, that makes you fucking read. I have a lot to say about how to get into reading, but let me just tell you guys the summary. Pretty much the summary of this podcast for today is that I will talk about my relationship with reading in the past, how it just wasn't for me. I was not a fucking reader. And then how I really got into reading this year. And by the way, I was not a reader until 6 months ago. So I've been not a reader. Non-reader, did not read ever since I was a kid, all the way to college, or up until this point in my fucking life. And then how I got into reading this year, why did that start, how did it start, all that bullshit. And then we're gonna go explore my top 5 books so far. Now, I wouldn't say top 5, like, I got other books that I've been enjoying, but these have been prominent books this year that have helped me become the person I want to be or strive to be. And after that, that is pretty much it. So I feel like it's gonna be a long podcast about talking about books, talking about my development, all that stuff. And we'll just see how it goes. And we're gonna count to 1, 2, 3 in action, and here we go. So when I was a kid, I never really read. I just could not do it. I fucking hated reading. I tried to read in middle school, high school, like all those fucking assigned readings. Oh my god, let me tell you, elementary school, when they had like A through Z of like easiest to hardest books to read as a fucking 5th grader, that shit intimidated me. Bitch, I was a slow reader. I could not read. Bitch, I couldn't even fucking speak English until the age of 5. So how could my mute ass how could I read? So reading was just not my thing. My sister tried to encourage me to read when I was a kid. Like, we tried to read some fairy tales together, like Disney fairy tales. She got me a Disney fairy tale collection book. Super cute, but wasn't really sticking. Like, I literally have no recollection of any of the stories that I read, to be frank. But reading was not for me. And there was just this pressure to be a reader, or be a good reader, or be a fast reader. And wow, reading is so good for you. But I found that shit boring. I was kind of embarrassed of being a slow reader. I just couldn't get the gist with it. And as I got older, from a kid to now like a teenager or a little young adult, I wanted to read. But once again, it just wasn't sticking. I wanted to read because I wanted to seem like a fucking cool kid or a smart kid, or be, you know, those idealistic, once again, productive people, or those bitches you see on your fucking YouTube feed of like, yeah, this is how you maximize your productivity. Oh, reading has made me feel better. This and that, this and that. Like, I wanted to be part of that little group of, wow, self-development. But it's self-development of like the toxic side of like, you need to do this and that to be deemed as cool, whatever. Additionally, there were times that I just wanted to read because I felt like there was something I needed to fix about myself, especially in the past with my friendship with my best friend and with my relationship with my ex. Like, when there's arguments and when they say their opinions, I've always assumed their opinions were objective and were right about me, and I thought I was a bad person. So because of that bad person mentality, and by the way, it's not, if I had the mindset of like, shit, that's what they fucking think, then fuck, maybe I should fake. I just thought that their opinions about some of my behaviors and, you know, habits were deemed as objectively bad, when in reality it's just subjectively not as ideal as they wanted to be. But I felt like I was just such a bad person, and I simply just wanted to fix myself. So if you have if you have those intentions about yourself and wanting to read, those are really not good intentions to get into reading, because you're gonna dread fucking reading. Like, if you have these thoughts of like, wow, I'm gonna be a slow reader, I'm self-conscious about reading fast, and oh, I had to read this book because I can be a better person for the person that cares about me. That's why reading didn't stick. I just didn't have the right intentions when it came into reading, and just kept getting bored of it and never stuck with it so consistently. And the only time that I genuinely enjoyed reading were fucking fan fiction. Fucking fanfics about K-pop men and manga. You had to go into reading with just pure entertainment, or just really wanting to know the fucking topic. You know, like genuinely, passionately wanting to know about the topic. So I was actually, even though I say in the past that I wasn't much of a reader, I probably really was, because I spent time reading hella fucking manga, hella fucking fanfics. I spent fucking all-nighters reading all about fanfiction about K-pop men and my fucking favorite ships, or reading about K-pop men and going on dates with them. Like, that was what I was reading. I remember one time I was addicted to this one author's fanfiction series. I spent fucking 3 all-nighters reading that shit because it was so good, and I was so addicted, and I was living through that fucking I was living through that fucking story. Yeah, I would spend multiple all-nighters. I was so hooked with fanfiction, and there you go. I was reading because of my fucking opars and my favorite ships, and I was a weird-ass kid, so I was reading some weird-ass shit, but it's okay. The reason why I read those fanfictions too is because I wanted a lot of romance in my life as a kid, and I just lived through those fucking fanfictions and comics and stuff. Yo, Yacy, shut the fuck up. I want to share this personal. I gotta be candid. I gotta be honest. I gotta tell the fucking truth out there, okay? Because it's honest. Like, I really gotta say it. I really gotta say it out loud. So, with that said, with the overall message of just, it wasn't sticking with me, it's because it's important to know your intentions and your wants for reading, rather than doing it because people are doing it, or it's deemed as something awesome or cool or smart or positive from other people, right? So like I said earlier, I read because I wanted to be cool, or I wanted to be better, but I wasn't reading because I wanted to do it for pure entertainment, or for genuinely enjoying or wanting to know about a certain topic that I'm genuinely interested in, right? So that's when it kind of sparked for me when I started reading, which was this year. I started reading around like January, February time, and what really inspired me to get into reading was because there was a lot of people around me in this city of where I live. They just like reading, and I was like, I'm inspired. I want to get into reading because they look like they're enjoying it, and I want to enjoy it myself. And they taught me, they didn't tell me, but they taught me indirectly with their actions that, hey, I want to get into the mindset of, I want to enjoy reading. So I've been looking around for books, trying to find the right book, and coincidentally I was at a concert when I was out of town, and I found a book called, oh wait, let me grab it actually. Let me grab it. I found my first book. This was actually technically my first book, but I got my first book, A Little Life, at a local bookstore out of town because I was at a concert. And I saw the cover and I was like, what is this fucking cover? This looks wild. But it's by a Japanese author, and I'm so curious. And I saw the staff recommendation note and I read it, and the way the staff member wrote it down about the book was really good, really interesting. And overall, the summary of the book resonated with me so much because it talked about childhood trauma. At the time, I was really interested about exploring what childhood trauma really is, how does it affect me, etc., etc. But it talked about childhood trauma, talked about cultivating friendships, talked about New York City. Literally was all about me in a fictional book. I didn't want to read nonfiction because I thought it was going to be boring for me at the time. And I bought the book. And when I started reading this book, the beginning was a little bit slow. It took me some time. But when I got to the right part, I was hooked. I could not stop reading it. And as you can see, there's like little tabs. I tried annotating it, and that's how it got me flowing and reading it as best as I could. Because I took notes and shit and noted down my moods, and I noted down my moods, I noted my thoughts, I noted when I laughed, all those things. As you can see, it kind of died down later on because I was just kind of wanting just to read the book and not write all the time. But yeah, it reminded me back at the time when I was reading fan fiction. There's times that I even related to the main character who also went through a lot of childhood struggles where I could relate to him. And the main character, it's not to the extreme, like with what I experienced, it's not to the extreme of what he experienced, but I know how that life was like as a kid. And let me tell you, his ways of self-deprecation, I relate. The way he views himself is how I viewed myself in the past. So it was really good. I'm currently, once again, I'm not done with the book, and I want to iterate. When it's reading, don't put any fucking limit, don't put any fucking assumptions that you need to finish a book, or just go with the flow of whatever the fuck you want to read. If this is gonna take me 1 year to read this book, then fine, so be it. Let it be a year. But as long as I'm enjoying the act of reading and enjoying the entertainment of what it's offering to me, and if I get bored, then I get bored. If I get entertained, then I get entertained. So right now, this book is kind of boring me a little bit, and I stopped here, but I'll pick it up again when I have the time, when I have the chance, when I have the feeling. I don't have the feeling of being sad right now. This book is fucking sad as shit. So that's all I'm saying about reading. And it kind of sparked this joy of like, damn, I actually enjoy reading more than I thought it did. And I love that I was getting super excited about the act of reading, and I kept picking up books after books after books that I found interesting. I didn't pick books because of what others believed was a good book for you to read to be a better person. Once again, if you keep putting obligations on yourself because of others to read or to do something in general, you're gonna fucking dread that hobby that you want to do. Like, if someone says you need to work out because you need to be skinny, no one's gonna want to fucking work out because they dread, because they have this fucking obligation because someone said so, or you're putting it in your fucking pedestal. You just want to exercise because you enjoy exercising. That's how I'm able to be, like, fit or read books, because I just want to enjoy it at the end of the fucking day. And as I kept getting into reading, I kept telling myself, hey, there's no competition to reading as many books as you can or getting as much information as you can. It's not about being the best and productive person that I can be. It's about, once again, me enjoying the act of reading, the leisure of it, and the intention of wanting to read rather than having to read. But yeah, that is how I got into reading. I had the switch of the mindset of, ugh, I have to read, versus, man, I actually really like to read. And that's why I'm enjoying reading so much. Like, I feel like a little granny sitting on my little couch bed, reading for 5 minutes all the way to 2 hours. One time I read this book, A Little Life, intoxicated, and I felt like I was in their fantasy world. I was living, I was alive, and I was enjoying my time. Additionally, another thing that I told myself when it comes to reading is that I had to tell myself that there is no pressure. Wait, I zoned out because I said the same bullet again as I was reading my script. I'm so sorry. And so there is no pressure with reading. It's what I want to do for myself at the end of the day. And another thing with reading and picking up the things, as I mentioned, you want to read books that you're curious about, that you're interested about. I continuously ask the questions that I am not confident about myself and what I want to learn more about. And I want to make note of, there's no problem and no issue with being not confident in something. Everyone does not know everything. And that's why we have all these resources available out to us in this world, with books all the way to the websites, to college, and much more. You're still a good human being. And with that, I bought so many books. Like, I can get my whole fucking book collection here. Shit. Here you go. My fucking book collection here. Here you go, guys. These are my fucking stacks of books right now that I bought for myself, and there's still more to come because I have literally 150 books on my Goodreads that I want to read. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. What was I gonna say? So I'm continuously asking myself questions that I'm not so confident about, and I want to continue more, or continue to learn more. And because of reading, it helps you build that confidence that you did not expect yourself to really get. When people are not confident and it just stays like that, like, and that was me in the past too, like, you really don't do anything about it. Like, you just either look at Instagram or whatever. But I'm happy that I spent the time this year to say, hey, I know that I'm not good at relationships, or I'm not as confident about relationships, and I don't understand, like, what I need to do to make the right steps, in my opinion, to do well in that field of dating and relationships. Why don't I just read books about romance? And then boom! Girl, I got a fucking book about being single and a book about attachment theory. Like, and now I feel more confident with understanding, like, oh, this is what I want in a relationship, or this is what I want for myself. Like, damn, like, I never felt so confident to make decisions for myself with reading. I'm able to have my own opinions. I'm able to have more foundation of my values, my morals, and my personality. I have a stronger understanding of what my needs and wants are. Hi, Shake. How are you doing? I have an understanding of what my needs, what my wants are. And in the past, I made a lot of decisions because of what others thought of me, and I'll do anything to get validation from others. Now I really don't need that anymore, and it feels great to not need relationships or need people to tell me, like, hey, you're a good person. With all this reading and understanding and this journey of just like, hey, you need to give yourself validation, or you need to give yourself more confidence, and if you feel unconfident, read a book about it. Girl, I'm like, I glowed up with my mental health. Another thing too, as I mentioned, like, yeah, my confidence has grown. I also find myself less anxious. Fun fact, when I was in therapy last year, I was diagnosed for generalized anxiety disorder. Fun fact, I thought that was just normal anxiety, right? I thought that was just like, oh my gosh, I'm anxious. Apparently, generalized anxiety disorder is severe anxiety, and I was diagnosed for that. I lived every day last year and my whole life anxious, and with building the confidence and understanding my anxieties and whatever it is, I am not as I am not as anxious as I used to be. I feel more relaxed. I feel more chill. Like I have my moments in the past, or not in the past. I mean, these past months of yeah, I felt anxious, but I knew how to maintain it. I knew how to really explore the anxious side and be like, hey, everything is okay. Not everything is gonna be happening at that one moment, or you can't. I with self-parenting, we'll talk about self-parenting or whatever topic. It helped me understand of like, okay, take it easy, or hey, I'm able to things think things through a little bit more logically. And overall, what else do I have for anxiety? Because of the confidence piece to it, it's because I am enabled to be wholly myself with a person of values, wants, needs, morals, and I no longer have to cater to people's needs to feel valued or validated. Yeah, once again, in the past, my anxiety is really stemmed from other people and the need of wanting validation, the need of just assurance, constant assurance. I'm a words of affirmation girl, and I felt anxious when people didn't like me. I feel anxious when things are not under my control, with how people perceive me, much more. But we can explore that a little bit later. But I felt less anxious with reading and building my confidence. And I did mention this when I was rambling. I feel now with reading, I'm more patient with myself and my overall journey and journey of loving myself. It's the idea of like, hey, if I make a mistake, I'm not gonna deprecate myself, or when a bad moment happens or something bad happens in the day, I don't obsess over the negative. It's actually just I see the day overall and I'm like, hey, this is actually what happened too, and I'm pretty happy and content of what happened today. And let's just continue to move on and just enjoy what we can for the next day. Once again, I had a 180 change in my mindset with not just reading. Like, I give reading a lot of credit, which it does deserve, but I did other things with journaling, video journaling, and much more. But reading has played a big role into how I'm becoming the person that I genuinely want to be and figure out who I want to be in the future. So, with that said, now you guys know I fucking hated reading, but now I love reading. We love that glow up character story arc for myself. But with that, these are the 5 books that I have read so far this year and have been implementing it for myself. And these 5 books are called Self-Parenting, The Complete Guide to Your Inner Conversations, Redefine Everything, Single on Purpose by John Kim. By the way, this is by John Pollard. Self-Parenting. I read Attached. This new science of adult attachment and how it can help you find and keep love. Soundtracks. The surprising solution to overthinking. And then my current book that I'm reading is The Courage to Be Disliked. These books have done it for me in terms of like how I changed my mindset in a really fast way, I guess. I do want to recognize, like, I feel like I'm able to change and see things, like, in a not in a faster rate, but I don't know. I feel like I'm smart, that I am learning a lot on how I need to change for the better for myself, if that makes sense. But with that said, these are the 5 books, and for each book, I'm just gonna explore the summary of it. Why did I pick that book, and how has it been helping me so far presently, and overall final thoughts for each book. And there's 5 of them, so we shall explore. And I will also, like, try to think of examples too of, like, when I thought about the book and, like, how I could implement it for myself, and much more. So, starting with self-parenting. Self-parenting, I did okay. I didn't read this year. I read this last year, and I read this, like, how long ago last year? Only a couple months. I probably read it around November, October, December of last year. It's a really good book. I didn't finish the book, because apparently it has an exercise, but I only read the concepts and not science, but the details of what the author was talking about. And here's a summary of self-parenting. Self-Parenting, the complete guide to your inner conversations, is the classic and original how-to book defining the concept of self-parenting. Many of us grew up within a parental environment that did not support our childhood needs for love, support, and nurturing. As adults, we mentally continue the same patterns as an inner parent that left us feeling alone, abandoned as a child. By beginning the daily practice of positive self-parenting, the negative outer parenting patterns taught as a child can be recognized and reversed. The foundation of self-parenting is a daily practice of self-parenting exercises, a 30-minute session of cognitive interaction between the inner parent and the inner child. During these daily half-hour sessions illustrated in the book, the reader learns how to love, support, and nurture his or her inner child, as well as increase their awareness of the profound implications of their inner conversations in the real world. So, that sounds like a whole fucking like, a lot. But generally, it's just talking about your inner thoughts and how you talk to yourself. There's this idea of your subconscious. When you're self-deprecating or being critical about yourself, that's like low-key your mom or your dad or your sister, like, nagging in your head. When you have your other side to your head of, like, these are my personal wants, this is my insecurities, I want to feel this and that, this and that, this and that. So you know how you have your conversations in your head of, like, hey, I want to eat candy, but then no, you're gonna get fat because this and that, or you're not gonna be healthy. That kind of thought process, and it tells you how to actually talk to yourself in a more nurturing and loving way, instead of being so angry or so pessimistic or so critical. So in the past, for me, like, why did I pick up this book? Trauma! I grew up with a lot of fucking criticism in my family. From my mom, from my sister. And because of that criticism and their viewpoints and their pessimism and much more, it grew on me. And once again, just naturally grew in my head, where shit, you feel like your parents are objectively fucking right about you, right? It's not true at all. They would tell you, like, oh, you're a burden, or you're this and that, all these negative thoughts. So growing up from a kid all the way to an adult, I cannot help to think so negatively about myself. I would think so negatively around I would think so negatively about myself around other people. I would always have bad assumptions or have assumptions about people that they don't like me. Much more, much more, much more. When I was with my ex, I was like, bro, I'm so sorry that I am bothering you, or like I feel like in a nuisance, or I'm annoying, or I'm sorry that I feel like you this and that, this and that. Like, I can't believe family members have the audacity to overly criticize a kid for things that they are just being a human at, or it's some things that they just can't control. So I really got this book because I was getting frustrated with myself. Before, at the time, I got this book because I was doing it for someone to be a better person, but I picked up the book again because I knew I needed this for myself, because I knew that I was not talking to myself in a very healthy way and taking care of myself in a, once again, healthy way, or a nurturing way, or a loving way. So yeah, if you do actions that you don't take care of yourself, like not eating or this and that, you're not nurturing it. But yeah, that's why I rambled for a second there, but this is why I got this book, because who wouldn't want to take care of themselves in a very nice, nurturing, and loving way? And how has it been helping me so far in the present? A lot. I find myself not deprecating or self-deprecating anymore. It was funny because in December, January, like this year, like I was making a lot of dark humor to cope with how aka shitty my life was like back, or how shitty it was at that time or that phase of my life, where I was like, yeah, let me just jump off this building and like you know like I would make that kind of dark humor because I was just so sad, depressed, going through it. And nowadays, today, it's actually so weird where my brain is now wired to just think positively or pretty healthily and say, oh yeah, fuck, I fucked up, but it's okay. Try to fix what you can do now. Or there's gonna be moments like, there's gonna be hints of self-deprecation or hints of overthinking or hints of anxiety, but it's not as intense as it was before. And I'm very happy about that. And it did teach me how to really talk to myself, and how it validated what happened in the past and how I really treated myself, and that I wanted that to be better. I did not finish the book. I do not know the exercise, but I did read a majority of like, this is how an inner child and an inner parent talk, and this is how you can manage to go through said thing to be more nurturing, more caring, much more. Hi Keywords, how are you doing? We're talking about self-parenting. In terms of final thoughts, highly recommend. Highly recommend. I need to read this book. I need to reread it. Like, I want to reread the whole thing in one go. But I highly recommend because it's... I personally want to continue validating myself in my own... in my own way. For by myself. But it's good to read this book when there is that... of like, I don't want to feel validated from other people. I need to know how to talk to myself. And this is it. So I recommend it. I do have to read this book again. And I would give it 5 out of 5 because it did help me, and I'm applying it today. I also want to note to always take books with a grain of salt. You don't have to take the whole Bible information into this book. You can just take the general concept and then call it a day. But yeah, self-parenting is nice. It's good. Book numero 2. Numero dos. Single on fucking purpose. This book is good. it was funny, and I annotated this one. I kept a lot of bookmarks for this one and kept a lot of quotes. I can do quotes. Once again, I didn't read the full book, and it's been a minute since I read this book, so I can't say quotes. But this one I can say quotes. And let me read the summary for you for this book. Okay. Redefine everything. Single on purpose. Summary. No one really wants to date themselves, but all of us at some point need to be single on purpose. After a series of failed relationships and a painful divorce, John Kim realized he had never truly been on his own. He knew that to move forward, he had to build a relationship with himself, to embark on a journey from alone and lonely to alone and fulfilled. That's me. Okay. For John, it took donuts, barbells, and a motorcycle. For the thousands of clients he's helped at The Angry Therapist, it was yoga, salsa dancing, or finally speaking their truth. In Single on Purpose, John takes his signature self-help in a shot glass approach and shows readers how to own their shit, break their patterns, and find a grounded sense of self. Single on Purpose is for people who have never been involved, people who have jumped from partner to partner, and those who have lost themselves in their current relationship. Anyone who needs to learn that there's more to life than who we choose to love. This book was good. It gave me a little bit of a fucking wake-up call. And why did I pick up the book? So the story in context is that I was taking a flight to go from wherever to California. I was going to California, and I was at a layover from Las Vegas. And as I was looking at the convenience store, and then I had my little brain of like, I want to read more. I saw this fucking book, and I was like, wow, this is speaking to me. I want to get it. And I didn't want to jinx myself because it's like, wow, this is just, I hope it's not a weird, cultish book or whatever. You know what I mean? I read the first chapter and I was hooked. So I got the fucking book and I read in the airport for my next flight from Las Vegas to California. And I want to keep note. The tabs in orange are important concepts and quotes that I noted. And why did I pick up the book too when I was at Las Vegas? Yeah, that's when I broke up with my ex. And after that breakup and not having contact with him, I could not handle my own shit. I could not stand being alone. I was just morbidly depressed, and I was just alone in my own thoughts, and I was like, how the fuck do I manage with myself? And this came up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it because I'm feeling fucking lost with my life, because I know I'm very dependent. I was very dependent on my ex. I was very dependent on my ex. And what have I learned? What have I this and that? Like, how has it been helping me so far? Overall, it taught me that it's important. It's important for you to define what you want and your whole personality and who you are as a person. And yes, dependency is actually fine. Like, and all. It's inevitable for dependency to occur in a relationship, but it's important for you to recognize that you can't live through your significant other to feel secure and validated in yourself. And you should feel confident in yourself. That's what I pretty much learned from this book. It just teaches you you need to have your own whole self instead of thinking of it half-half. And we can't live through our partners. You just need to develop your confidence, your personality, your needs and wants through yourself rather than living it through from someone else. And that's what I did in my past relationship. Even though I was that independent person, business, whatever, I really felt like I was living through people, not just my ex, but through my friendships. And I thought that I was important because of these people and because of my career. When in reality, man, I was insecure. I did not Like, isn't that sad, once again, to think you are important because of your career and because of people? I didn't have a personality. Not that I didn't have a personality, but I didn't have the respect for myself to really have the hobbies that I should have to make myself feel good and happy and confident and secure about myself. And in terms of like quotes, yeah, quotes. Let me see. It talks about not expect. You shouldn't be expecting. You shouldn't be expecting someone to just be in a relationship with you and get the dream person that you want, or saying like, hey, I'm gonna be lonely forever. Like, it talks about stop self-deprecating yourself and just focus on yourself and don't worry about being in another relationship to make yourself feel better. It's about you and your journey alone, and that you shouldn't hop to different relationships and hop in. Yeah, you can't hop in these relationships, whether it be friendships or relationships, to make a kind of person that you want to be from others. But yeah, it's a really good book. I highly recommend it. If, once again, I recognize that I'm a people pleaser, and I resonated with this book quite a lot. Let me find. I'm trying to find a good quote. See, there's this one chapter or this one part where he talks about, hey, it's okay to explore your emotions. It's okay to be sad. And it says here, like, if you don't grieve the death of the relationship that you were previously in and allow yourself to feel everything you lost, but instead push it down, you will cope in other ways. Whatever you haven't grieved is the virus you will carry into all of them. So it talks about general ideas of like focusing on yourself. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to explore. Just don't depend on others. Not don't depend on others, but don't rely in a relationship to make yourself feel better and move on with your day, because it's always gonna linger in your feelings no matter what. I'm trying to find my favorite quote. I don't know, but it says, now instead of reacting to your thoughts, you can let them float by. You can let go and choose to respond, and instead reacting, which is getting into relationships or depending on something. The goal is to get to a place where you start to notice a difference, and you have to believe that your new practice will work for you, or don't do it. Everything starts with acceptance. It taught me how to accept myself. Whenever we feel like we have to do something, it never see? That's what I said about reading. Whenever you feel like you have to do something, you'll never want to do it because you have to do it. You want to do it. Oh, I put a note right here. Okay. As you can see, I did a lot of fucking highlighting and writing. It says, I was building a relationship with me. It means breaking the pattern of putting yourself last. It means not taking on everything, not overextending yourself. It means considering your own needs, not over others' needs, but with them and meeting your needs. So putting a level playing field of your priority of yourself along with priorities of people that you care about or your friendships. So, what else it says here? Instead, connecting to yourself. And then I wrote a note here when I was sad, right? It says, this is why you're depressed. You rely on people to validate the being that you are. When you are alone and you don't get it, you wallow in your negative thoughts until someone saves you or someone compliments you and tells you that you're a good person instead of saying that you are a good person. So, I would recommend this book. It's a really good book. He has a very aggressive tone in this book, and he's like, fuck, or just live your fucking shit. Very aggressive tone. Once again, of course, people are gonna have their opinions and much more. Hi, Jenny. People are gonna have their opinions and much more, or have their preachy advice. Always take your shit with a grain of salt, and there's a lot of shit that's really good in here. Even though some people may not like it, or some people will like it. But final thoughts? Yeah. taught me to stand my ground, taught me to accept myself, taught me to prioritize myself just as important as my friendships and everything in my life. And really good book. Highly recommend. Okay! Book number 3 of this year of how it fucking helped me. I read Attached, the new science of adult attachment and how it can help you find and keep love. So it's not that I'm looking for a relationship. I just wanted to be aware of like how my behaviors are like and why and what attachment theory was all about and what should I look out for when something happens in a relationship, etc., etc. But here is the summary of Attach. Hold on, I'm gonna take a water break. This is a very, very heavy topic or heavy information podcast today. Okay. The summary of Attach. In this groundbreaking book, psychiatrists and neuroscientists... Okay, no. We're not going to read that whole thing. But the summary of this book is that there's this idea of attachment theory. And attachment theory is originally derived from parent-kid relationships. But it can be applicable for romantic relationships now. And the attachment theory is... Let's see. The attachment theory is about the early relationships our parents has on the people we become. Also central to attachment theory is the discovery that our need to be in a close relationship with one or more individuals is embedded in our genes. In Attach, the authors trace how these evolutionary influences continue to shape who we are in our relationships today. According to attachment theory, every person behaves in relationships in one of 3 distinct ways: anxious, avoidant, and secure. Anxious people are often preoccupied with their relationships and tend to worry a lot about their partner and their ability to love them back. Avoidant people equate intimacy with a loss of independence and constantly try to minimize closeness. And then secure people feel comfortable with intimacy and are usually warm and loving. And it talks about these 3 individual types of people and how people at the end of the day want to be loved and cared for. And Attach offers readers a roadmap for building stronger and more fulfilling connections. What else? And the book determining what attachment style they have. It also offers readers a wealth of advice on how to navigate their relationships more wisely given their attachment style and that of their partner, and an insightful look of the science behind love. Okay. Excuse me. Why did I pick up the book? Like I mentioned, I'm not confident about romance. I didn't like the fact in the past that I just go with the flow and then happen to be in a long-term relationship, and then it's like I'm infatuated. I go date them and get in a relationship with them, but then when they start to really want to think long-term with me, I get fucking scared and then I want to fucking dip. So like, what do I fucking want? Do I want a relationship or do I not want a relationship? But it's just that general idea of like, hey, I'm not confident about what I want in romance. What can I do to make sure that I know and have more of a confident choice and understanding of what I want in a relationship? And this is one of the books that I picked up. It's highly recommended from a lot of people when it comes to fucking relationships, right? So for me, as I was reading this book, fun fact, I had not finished reading this book. You'll see as a consistent thing of me not finishing my books, because sometimes I just get bored, sometimes I don't. The reason why I didn't continue reading this book is that it got too emotional for me to continue, and I needed to take a break, so I took a fucking long break from this book. But I'm almost done. I find that I am both an anxious and an avoidant person, but I am more on the anxious side rather than avoidant, because as I keep continuing the avoidance side of Rhea and why she's avoidant is because she's just a hurt baby. But I'm more of an anxious person when it comes to attachment because, you know, I really want attention, I really want love, I really want care, much more. And yeah, I recognize that I had bad behaviors or bad habits when it came to relationships, and I just wanted to build my confidence in understanding romance. So I picked up the book Attach. And how has it been helping me so far, like right now? Man, it's helping me understand the dating scene a little bit better. Like, shit. Like, it gave me more confidence of like, hey, I'm not a bad person when it comes to like liking certain things or not liking certain things when it comes to dating or coming into relationships and much more. But it also taught me how much hurt I went through in the past and how my behaviors were like and conveyed in relationships. And I really couldn't believe how my past affected how I was like in relationships. And it's helping me understand and solidify the feelings that I have when it comes to relationships and what I can focus on how to improve to become a better person when it comes to being in a romantic relationship or just dating in general or much more. But it's helping me understand like what it means to have a healthy relationship instead of, once again, in the past, living through my partner or my significant other to feel validated. And the anxious part of my attachment is just wanting reassurance, wanting validation, and much more because I didn't get that when I was a kid. So now I'm looking for it in a romantic relationship. And also, keep in mind, I only have a mom. I don't have a dad. So, and I have a mom where I don't have the best relationship with her. So I literally don't have the attachment shit that I need to survive sometimes. But we managed through independently. Sometimes my attachment style and my attachments really appear sometimes. Like, it was appearing last week. But yeah, it gave me a good understanding of how I am like in a relationship and how I can manage through and find the right person that is for me instead of just going with the flow and just going into a relationship because I'm just infatuated. So instead of going into relationships infatuated, I go in there with more logic and more sense and just more of a mature choice when it comes to picking a partner, because when you pick a partner, you gotta go in for the fucking lifelong term. So you gotta make the right fucking decision instead of just going with the flow and be like breaking hearts left and right and just go left and right with decisions with your partner. So that's why you gotta know more about romance. You just can't go into that shit blindly now. And I did do that. Final thoughts? Really good book. It gave me, once again, more understanding of how I'm like. And I highly recommend that book if people need to understand how they are like in a relationship and how they can manage well and decide which are the best partners for them overall when it comes to romance. So yeah, 2 more books, guys. 2 more books. How are we doing? How are we feeling? Are we booked out? Because I feel a little bit booked out. Because I feel like 3 books are enough information. I could probably briefly talk about these 2 books, or I can save it for another podcast episode. I just realized that I think 3 books is enough information for one podcast, and I'll do another podcast with books, and book reviews, because I do plan to continue reading as I go with my life, and I want to talk about books, and books are entertaining to me, but these 2 books have helped me a lot too as well. The Courage to Be Disliked is what I'm reading currently because I feel very insecure still about people not liking me, and it's teaching me a lot. This is really a good book. I might save this for another podcast, to be quite frank. So we'll see how that goes. In terms of this fourth book that I've been reading this year, or I finished reading this book. I read this whole book in 5 days. I finished this book in 5 days because I was pretty interested of what it had to say. It talks about overthinking and how to really manage your overthinking, because girl, I overthink. That's why I got diagnosed anxiety for, like, come on, I overthink. Can't be helped. But the summary really, he refers thoughts to soundtracks, and you shouldn't be listening to negative soundtracks, or you shouldn't be listening to if you don't like songs, why would you want to listen to them? You listen to your favorite songs because it's your favorite song and it sounds good and it makes you happy. You should set your thoughts, or aka soundtracks, into positive ones that you enjoy and eventually will listen and continuously listen to, instead of listening to your bad soundtracks even though they occur in your head. So this book is really about self-talk, how you talk to yourself, how you think about things in more of a positive light. It talks about a lot of self-affirmation bullshit, and it's pretty good. And it does a silly thing, and I haven't done it yet because, I just haven't done it. It tells you that you need to do this for you to feel more confident in yourself in the long term, or whatever it is. So I highly recommend this book. It's a 4 out of 5 star for me because it wasn't. I wrote a review for myself, but good book, highly recommend. I'm not going to go into really deep detail about soundtracks because, once again, now that I think about it, 3 books is a lot of information and I'm booked out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the information that I shared today with reading. It is a lot to handle. They are dense for a reason, and they're in books for a reason. But I came to terms of, hey, I fucking love reading. It's been a good time. It's actually just one of my favorite things to do for self-care, when I just go to a cafe, stay at the cafe for 3 hours. I did that 2 weeks ago. I went to a new cafe. I didn't go to my work cafe. I went to a new cafe. I drank nice espresso and just sat at the bench for 3 hours reading 2 books. I read, the books are not in this pile. I read Think and Grow Rich, and the other book is called To Hell with the Hustle, because I was feeling a little insecure about my career path. So I read those books and I feel so good and more confident about the choices I'm making about my career. But yeah, my book collection, we're thinking about overthinking, grief, another fictional book, which I want to read, Crime and Punishment, Trauma, The Alchemist. We're really going at it with the books. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It was a little bit dense, so I hope you guys enjoyed the content that I had to offer with reading. I would explore these last 2 books, but I think I'll save it for another podcast episode about reading again. I'll probably do book review podcast episodes, because books, once again, are very key things for me that had helped me with my growth at the end of the day. And this book is just mind fucking blowing to me. So I will keep you updated about that book. But I hope you guys have a good night. Are there any questions? Are there any thoughts? Are there any concerns? I know this is a little bit, we're a little bit late on numbers for today, but we're just gonna keep chugging through with what we got to do with this podcast. But by the way, actually, in terms of podcast information, I uploaded the episodes so far in my YouTube. I am planning to post some episodes on Spotify. I heard Spotify is now going to be doing video podcasts. And then, what else? Spotify is doing video podcasts. The website is up now if you go to realmomjeans.com. And if you click on the tab of podcasts, that's where you can go to check it out. And then, what else? I'm still working on creating clips for information and posting it on TikTok and Instagram. And I'm living my best life. I'm pretty happy. And yeah, that is all I have to share for today. Wait, you know how to... Yeah! Keywords, I know how to fucking read. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know. It took... Yeah, I know how to read. Valorant? I really want to play Valorant. Oh my god, I've been craving to play video games for the longest fucking time. But that is all I had to share for tonight. Let's see who's online on Twitch so I can go raid them. We're gonna go raid Naz. Let's see, who else we got? Quarto. Oh my god, I haven't seen Quarto. Pikachu, hi. Okay. There's Mo, we got Lucky, we got Quarto, Kane, Valorant, Korean Shefa. We're gonna go to Naz. Oh wait, Naz is just starting. Joe DeBozo? Yo, Kjord, shut up! Yo, shut up. He's not on. Yeah, he's not on. I would have rated him though! I'll rate him when I play a Valorant stream. Maybe next time. Maybe fucking next time. I wanna raid Naz, but she's not online. I might go raid Quarto. Or Mo. We might raid Mo. Let's go raid Mo. I haven't raided Mo. Let's say hi to Mo. Okay. We're gonna go raid Mo. Moti. Oh shit, I didn't mean to put the fucking at Mo. He's not even on. Preparing cooking BRB. Ugh. Let's go to Quarto. Hold on. We're looking for someone to raid. Hold on. We're looking for someone to raid. Do you guys have any recommendations? Not Joe DeBozo, please. Stop. You can't embarrass me like that. Mi nombre es... I miss Quarto. Hold on, I'm going through an ad. I gotta make sure that he's there. Yeah, he's there! He's wearing a panda suit! Oh, that's so fucking cute. Okay. We're gonna go raid Quarto de Chance. Yes. We're gonna go raid him and say hi. Okay. So I'll call, not call, but I'll see you guys next week. Next week's podcast information will be out this week. But I hope my content was good. I felt like I rambled, but you know what? I got my content out. I got my information out at the end of the day. Keywords, we're gonna play Valorant now. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. I'm done for tonight. I've been up since 5 a.m. and it's 9 o'clock. I am trying to lay down and be brain dead. Good night. Peace. Love y'all. Night.